Mr. President, I rise today to speak in honor of a friend of a fellow congregant, Betty Dewhurst Russell, someone who I've known a long time and someone who I knew as a member of my home church, First and Central Presbyterian in Wilmington, Delaware. Earlier today, Betty passed away, and I am so honored to have an opportunity here on the floor of the Senate to briefly recognize her for her remarkable service to the United States and for her great and soaring spirit. Betty was a young Midwestern girl when she ventured to St. Louis, Missouri in 1940 to begin her schooling as a nurse. Upon graduation, she volunteered for service in the United States Army. Betty was posted to Longview, Texas for basic training, and while in Longview, she would meet her future husband, Lloyd Byron Russell, known as Russ, of Wilmington, Delaware. Betty served her country as a first lieutenant in the Army Nursing Corps from April 1943 until January 1946 through the 70th General Hospital. Betty served alongside her uncle, Chief Surgeon Colonel L.D. Cassidy. And in something that she recounted to me a number of times once I was elected to this body, Betty, during the Second World War, as part of the 70th General, cared for hundreds and hundreds of American soldiers, among them 2 who returned home to serve in this body as senators, Bob Dole of Kansas and Daniel Inouye from Hawaii. Betty received a battle star as the 70th General Hospital was awarded the European, African, and Middle Eastern Campaign Ribbon. Betty was understandably proud of her service, saving so many American lives. One cherished memory that Betty shared with her family was that when she was caring for one particularly badly wounded GI, his last request was to hold close an American flag. A big one, he said. She went to the Red Cross, and they gave her a big American flag. She spread it over his body. He put his arms around it, smiled, and took his last breath. Betty and Russ were married in Oran, Algeria. Being military and married in a foreign country required cutting through a whole lot of red tape. They were eventually married twice, once by the French government and once by the U.S. Army. Betty and Russ returned to live in our hometown of Wilmington, Delaware, and eventually settled in Hockessin. They were married for 53 years before Russ passed in 1998. Betty and Russ's 4 children were born and raised in Delaware. She served her community faithfully by helping to establish the Hockessin Well Baby Clinic, by serving as a Cub Scout den mother, as a volunteer at the Junior Board of Memorial Hospital, at the Wilmington Flower Market for over 50 years, and as a charter member of the Hockessin Community Club. Betty was also a longtime board member of the Lamborn Library and Friends of the Library in Hockessin, and a faithful member of First and Central Presbyterian Church for 70 years. Betty has lived a full and wonderful life, full of dedicated service to her faith, her family, and her country. She always saw the best in others, and she always had a hopeful attitude about the day that lay ahead. And so I am grateful for having had the opportunity to know Betty for just a few years in our wonderful home state. And I'm so grateful for the career, the life of service that Betty Russell gave as a gift to all of us in Delaware and in this grateful nation. Thank you.